you guys remember when James Gunn said he started working on a new project and everyone immediately assumed that it was a world's finest movie? Well, I'm here to tell you that while it would be cool to see a live-action version of Batman and Superman share the big screen, it's just not likely that that's what he's working on right now because none of the evidence points to a world's finest movie, but it does point to something terrific. But before we get into it, I'd like to quickly say thank you so much for everyone who is tuned in right now, but especially thank you to my returning viewers. I know I've been gone for about 3 months now. I just had a couple of life things happen, some good, some not so good, but I'm very excited to show you guys a passion project that I've been working on. Can't show it to you right now, but I can show you the type of training that I've done for this passion project. I know you guys noticed that I've gotten a little bit bigger.
That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. So you're doing good.
Okay, back to the video. So as far back as January 20th of 2025, James Gunn has hinted at the fact that he has already begun pre-writing on his next DCU project, but just yesterday, so May 31st at the time of filming, he actually confirmed that he is no longer pre-writing, but he is in full writing mode. And so obviously this type of announcement led to some speculation about what this movie could possibly be, and like I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of people started leaning towards a Batman-Superman movie. But why? Well, it's actually not too difficult to understand because when James Gunn posted this picture on Labor Day of 2024, a fan asked, if you had to make a Superman-Batman movie, what would you call it? And James Gunn responded, World's Finest. But that's actually the weaker bit of evidence because we also have clips of James Gunn saying stuff like this.
Listen, I gotta tell you, I just love Batman. I love him. I've loved him since I was a little kid. He's one of my favorite characters. I've gone on record in the past when I was at Marvel saying my favorite character is Batman. I love him, you know, and we're gonna do great things with him. He's the most popular superhero in the world, and I can't wait for people to see more of him, along with Superman. And together.
Now, if that clip in that post was already enough to convince people that James Gunn's next project would be a world's finest movie, then what Jeff Snyder posted on May 6th was just another nail in the coffin. He's quoted as saying, the signs that I'm getting is the next Batman movie won't be the Batman 2. Like, the next time you see Batman, it'll be like a world's finest movie or something. That is probably what Gunn is working on right now. If he's not writing a direct sequel to Superman, then it's got to be something that incorporates Superman and Batman. End quote. Now, whether you choose to believe that or not is completely up to you, but I will say this. Jeff Snyder undeniably does get some things right. For example, if we take a look at this same newsletter, we can see that he predicted that Clayface would get rewrites. And as luck would have it, only a couple days later, Mike Flanagan, the writer of Clayface, did an interview with comicbook.com, and he basically told them that even though he is not working on this movie anymore, he knows that they're still reworking his original script. Now, on the flip side, we also know that he gets things wrong. For example, the day before Aaron Pierre was announced to play Jon Stewart, Snyder wrote in his news post that Stephen James was the forerunner, meaning DC had this man in their sights. They wanted him to play the role. Now, I'm trying to give him some grace here because Stephen James really was a finalist alongside Aaron Pierre, but dog, the day before, that would mean there was no deliberation, no negotiation. They flipped on a dime like that. And this is why I am highly skeptical of these type of scoops. And I'm actually even more skeptical of this Batman-Superman scoop, specifically because of the way it's phrased. So what I mean is that if we read something like his Clayface leak, something that has now been verified to be true, we can see that he uses phrases that exude confidence, like, I've been saying this for weeks. He knows he's right. Conversely, when we read his Superman-Batman leak...
If I could just shimmy on in here, I don't think anyone will mind, and... okay, almost. Okay. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Conversely, if we take a look at the Superman-Batman scoop, we can see that the language he uses in it is a lot more speculative than it was in the Clayface scoop. Here he uses words like signs instead of sources, and that is important because you don't reference signs You reference sources. He also says probably. He's not saying this is what James Gunn is working on right now. He is saying this is probably what James Gunn is working on right now. And I can go on, but I think you get the point. I don't really trust this scoop, and I don't really believe that this next project by James Gunn will be a Superman-Batman movie. Not because I don't want it, but because I think there is so much more evidence that points to the fact that this movie will be about the...
Oh, good lord!
So the reason I'm certain that this upcoming mystery project by James Gunn is a movie about the Terrifics is not because I have this one piece
of dog shit
of evidence that's like a smoking gun. No, it's more like I have a lot of compounding evidence that dates all the way back to when James Gunn was first announced to be the DC Studio co-CEO. And that was on October 25th of 2022, and not even a month later, on November 15th, one of the first things that he posted was a picture of Mr. Terrific. Now, this on its own isn't actually that telling because it could have just been James Gunn hinting at the fact that Mr. Terrific would show up in Superman. But then he posted this cover of the Terrifics on March 29th of 2023, and only a couple months later, on July 12th, we found out that Anthony Kerrigan got cast as Metamorpho, one of the original members of the Terrifics. But that's not where it stopped, because it got even more suspicious when in December of 2023, so only a couple months later, James Gunn posted a picture of Plastic Man, another founding member of the Terrifics. Now, I'm starting to feel like Billy Mays in this because I gotta hit you with a but wait, there's more. Only 2 months after that Plastic Man post, so in February of 2024, a fan asked James Gunn, what do you think about these 3 rumors? To which he responded, at least one of those things is not true. Now just humor me for a second, and let's just say that for the sake of argument, that only one of these rumors is not true. I know James Gunn said at least, which means that 2 or all 3 could be incorrect, but let's just say for the sake of argument that only 1 is false. It would have to be the rumor about Ruthie, not only because Teen Titans was already confirmed to be in development, but also the young actress who got cast as Ruthie has already been in a Netflix show called 3 Body Problems. She was a voice in Peppa Pig, and she's had representation since 2022. I can almost guarantee you that this was not an open casting call. Now, with that being said, if only one of these rumors was false, and we proved that it was the Ruthie rumor, then that would mean Plastic Man is getting his own movie, and he's coming to the DCU very soon. Okay, I'll admit that is pretty speculative, but what isn't speculative is the fact that James Gunn did an interview with IGN where he basically told them that of the supporting heroes in Superman, Mr. Terrific is the main character, but also he has a huge role in that movie. And he didn't even need to say this because we can actually just tell from the trailers that Mr. Terrific will have a major role in this movie. It seems like he has some kind of subplot with Lois Lane where he's going off and he's maybe figuring out like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be a part of Maxwell Lord's Justice Gang. And it's the fact that he's not shown in the Peacemaker Season 2 trailer with Hawkgirl, Maxwell Lord, and Guy Gardner that really tells me that he is not with that team anymore. At the end of Superman, he will go off and do his own thing and probably form the Terrifics. And I think this move makes even more sense when we take a look at the publication side of things because Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific just got their own solo books, and what James Gunn did to Guardians of the Galaxy, I think he is now trying to do to the Terrifics. So yeah, in conclusion, while I do think that there is some evidence to support the idea that James Gunn might be working on a Batman-Superman movie, I just think that there is not only more evidence, but more concrete evidence to support the idea that his next movie will be a Mr. Terrific movie. So with that being said, why don't my little tea princesses have a terrific day?